Hello, Scuba Sarge here, and today we're going to go over my third piece of equipment that I recommend every diver purchase for themselves and own it. It is the dive computer. The first piece was a mask. We made a video on how to select a mask and how to make sure it fits. The second was dive boots. Again, we went over styles and how to make sure those fit. And the third one is the dive computer. Now the purpose of this video isn't to sell you any type of dive computer. We're going to fly through what types are available really quick. It's more to show you the advantage of why you should have a dive computer. When it comes to dive computers, there are two basic types. There is air integrated and non-air integrated. Non-air integrated is as simple as what we call a dive puck. It's very simple. You can tell it's not something you're going to want to wear out of the water. It's pretty thick, it's pretty big. Most people put them on the dive boat or on the shore right before they get in the water. Keeps track of your basic nitrogen load, your ascent rates, keeps track of your dives, logs your dives, all that good stuff. Basic piece of equipment, but well worth it. Up next after the puck is one of my favorites, the Garmin Descent Mark 1. It's a smartwatch. It is something that's fit enough that you can wear 24/7. I wear this thing all the time. You can get your texts on here, your emails, and it's a full dive computer. One of my favorites. If you go up into the air integrated computers, these are computers that have a transmitter on your first stage and actually communicate with your tank to determine how much PSI is left in your tank, your remaining bottom time. They do all kinds of stuff. We're just using Scuba Pros today because that's what I personally own. There are many brands of these different computers. This is the Scuba Pro G2. It's a nice and a great computer. Does just about everything you can think of that a diver would want to do. Simple button controls. You wear it on your wrist and it communicates with the transmitter that is on your tank. Latest and greatest, as another example, is the new Scuba Pro HUD, which is a full dive computer, air integrated, that mounts right on your mask. I've got another review out on that one. But those are some of the examples. Now the prices on these things run, you can find a puck for $200, around there, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. You get up into the HUD and the G2, you're talking about $1,700. But then again, like the G2, it comes with a heart rate strap. It monitors the stress you're underwater. It incorporates that into the algorithm to, again, we're not here to get into computers. It does a lot of stuff. Really, no matter the agency you go through to get certified, PADI, SSI, now are your few examples out there. I go through PADI. They all have their own method of teaching you how to figure repetitive dives safely without a computer. And we make every student that comes through here and takes an open water class familiar with how to use it. In PADI, we call it the RDP, the Repetitive Dive Planner. It allows you to figure multiple dives over the course of a day and keep yourself within very safe limits. Very effective, but it does rob you of some dive time. And it's one of the main reasons that I want everybody to have their own computer. So let's get into why this robs you of dive time and what a computer can actually do for you. When we use PADI's RDP to figure dives, we use a diagram such as this. We're at the surface, we make our descent, our bottom time, and then our ascent back to the surface. Now you'll notice this is basically just a U. So the drawback is they assume once we start our dive, we're magically, in this case, at 43 feet. We stay at 43 feet for all 54 minutes, and then when we start to ascend, boom, we're magically back at the surface. Well, we don't dive that way, do we? We dive, we get in the water, we descend. Okay, we hit this little reef right here, we're checking stuff out. Okay, there's a lionfish down in the cut, I want to go see him. Okay, time to start ascending. And we make our way back to the surface. So that is our actual dive profile. It looks nothing like a U. So what the RDP does is it punishes you in essence. Well, we use the word punish. It penalizes you. There, that's a better word. It penalizes you for all of this nitrogen that you did not absorb because you were not at 43 feet for 54 minutes. Your dive profile looked like this. Now a dive computer samples, they have different sample rates, but usually 3-5 seconds, something like that. It's sampling your depth and it's updating its own dive profile. So it samples it here and it records your depth there. Here, here, all the way through your dive, it's sampling and recording your depth so that it's accurate. And you get credit for the depth you're actually at and the time you're actually there. Now the other drawback of using the dive tables is you'll see our plan here is to go 43 feet for 54 minutes. But on Patty's RDP, there is no 43 feet, so you have to round up and you have to assume you're at 50 feet. So there's an added penalty right there. There is no 54 minutes at 50 feet, so we have to assume we're there for 57 minutes. So it's another built-in penalty. Now that's very, very safe, which is the idea behind the RDP, but you can also use a computer and get credit for all of this nitrogen that you did not absorb, and you can still be just as safe. So that's one of the big values of a computer. Now that we've covered a little bit of why and how computers keep you safe but allow you more dive time per tank, let's go through the sheer ease of these things too. Really, all you have to do is put them on your wrist, on your mask, whatever style you're buying, and jump in the water. They turn themselves on. They turn themselves off. They log your dives. They keep track of your surface interval between dives. They manage multiple dives in a day. They keep track of your no-flies times. Let's say you happen to disregard the computer and you go into a deco dive. They're going to give you precise instructions on what to do. Go to 40 feet and stay for 8 minutes. And you know what? When you get to 40 feet, they're going to start a timer for you. And when that timer expires, they're going to tell you what to do next. It's a very safe way to dive, a very convenient way to dive, and well worth the money. Now, there's some of you out there saying, well, Sarge, why can't I just rent one? Okay, well, you can. You can go to dive resorts and rent them. The problem comes when you start jumping from one dive shop to another on the same trip. Let's say you go to Utila, my favorite place. Let's just go there. Wish I was there. Let's say you start off at Utila Dive Center and you do 3 dives that day with them. And then you go over to Captain Morgan's the next day and you do another 2 dives with them. You rent a computer at each place. Well, you know what? That computer you rented the second day has no record of your nitrogen load from the first day. It's not keeping track of it because you didn't physically have it on during those dives. If you have your own computer, you wear it every dive, it's going to keep a running total and keep track of it, and it's going to keep you safe. And you say, you know, Sarge, I don't need a dive computer because my buddy's got one. Well, we don't recommend you share them either, because what happens if you're in Hawaii and you're diving and your buddy goes down 10 feet lower than you do to check out a turtle? He may only be there for 5 minutes, but that's 10 feet deeper than you. His dive profile is now different. His nitrogen load is now different. So we recommend that every diver have their own computer. So, once again, this isn't to sell you a computer, it's merely to make you familiar with how they keep you safe and how they can add to your dive time. Any questions on dive computers, of course, we have them here at the Dive Shop in Marion, Kansas. Contact information right below there. I'm Scuba Sarge. If you got any questions about certifications or anything, my contact info's right there right now. Let us know. Until next time, happy diving.